Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a video for a Machinedramon deck profile. This deck has been one that I really love playing. I understand it's not super powerful, but I don't care about that. It's about having fun. So this Machinedramon deck uses the Doraemon that draws when you place a source under it. I will mention right now that this deck's version is using Airdramon to put down Marvin Jackson, and that adds a source under, which means when you do that, you can draw. And when we talk about the level 3s, we'll see that Doraemon also gets to take advantage of that ability by gaining 1 memory. So we run 4 of the Doraemon draws. We need to draw. We got to get the pieces. I also run 1 Kyokomon. This one gains plus 1,000 till the end of your opponent's turn, which is really nice. Sometimes it might give you a key number that you need in order to not get destroyed, right? It also triggers by putting a card under, so you can just get plus 1,000 till the end of your opponent's turn and take advantage of that, which is pretty cool. We of course run 4 of the Dorumon. We don't hard play this. We definitely Digivolve because we want to be able to gain that 1 memory. That 1 memory inheritable is a big ability that you want to take full advantage of with Machinedramon, as it will be placing cards under. So whether you Digivolve or connect the Marvin Jackson up to it, Mind Link a Marvin Jackson, you get to take advantage of gaining that 1 memory, and we'll talk about that as we move along. We run 4 of the Searcher Hagurumon on play. It also has an inheritable reboot. Reboot's going to be a big part of this deck because of course, it gets you to stand back up and be able to block and things like that. So this one's kind of flexible. You can either hard play it and pick up a machine or cyborg level 5 that you want, or pick up a tamer. It can just be machine or cyber, it doesn't have to be level 5. And then put the rest back on top of your deck, which is really nice because you get to see what's coming up and take advantage of that. And the inheritable reboot will definitely factor in when we talk about it. So we run full 4 of those Hagurumons. I run 2 of the on-play discard a machine cyborg and draw 2. Sometimes you're just like, man, I really need some cards. Hagurumon helps you do that. You could run 3, but I like to have in the tech little Agumon. This deck does have some blocking and some redirection, which can gain you that 1 memory, as well as sometimes you just need that 1 memory. Maybe you have Agumon in raising and you bring it up and you gain that 1 memory. It's one of those ways that you can gain memory reacting to your opponent, which is what black does a lot, right? So I run with just 1 Agumon. You could turn this into a on-play Hagurumon if you'd like, but I haven't run into problems where I don't have enough cards. In fact, I often draw well enough so that I don't need other searchers and stuff. I run 2 of the Gardramon, which on play you can trash a cyborg or machine to not be able to be deleted. That can be a good ability, especially because it combos with putting cyborgs and machines level 5s into your trash. And if you cannot delete this guy, he might be something that your opponent can really deal with, right? You might have to be able to take a punch from this Gardramon. It doesn't attack if your opponent doesn't have Digimon, but whatever, it's fine. It's also a blocker with an inheritable reboot, which again is going to be kind of something that factors in a little bit later. We'll talk about that when we get to it. We run 4 of the Airdramon. This Airdramon is actually really nice. It does have inheritable reboot. I don't know if you can see it pretty well. And also on play or when digivolving, you can put a Marvin Jackson under it and de-digivolve your opponent. So not only do you get a Marvin Jackson out for free, you also get to de-digivolve your opponent. So the good combo would be if you have Dorumon with Doraemon, let's say, digivolve into Airdramon, place a Marvin Jackson under it, you gain the 1 memory. Now you've digivolved for 1, and you have a jamming Airdramon that can swing and check your opponent, and then you can digivolve on top of Airdramon after that, if you get a successful jamming check and you don't get killed by some combo card, which is really nice. So Airdramon, I love that combo. I love getting the jamming. I love getting the Marvin out for free. Digivolving for 1. All of those things are really nice here in this deck. The jamming, and if you don't have Dorumon, you got Hagurumon, and your check will still be jamming, and then you get to reboot and stand back up, which is really nice too. Now let's move on to level 5 cyborg machines. We run 1 blocker Metal Greymon with security check +1. Pretty good. You'll see several cards that are security checks +1 because that's what you want. We got Machinedramon, which if you have a machine or a cyborg, machine specifically, you get to check +1. 2 cards that check +1 independently. We also have a Metal Greymon that when you have reboot on the stack, which we have a lot of reboot all over, you get security check +1. So potentially 3 checks right there. I do run one of these Machinedramons, which on play, it searches and puts cards under it. I will mention right now that this effect can put a Marvin Jackson under the Megadramon. So if you missed your chance with Airdramon, let's say you Digivolve into Airdramon, you don't have Marvin, but soon after you pick it up, you can Digivolve into Megadramon, and this card, if it searches the top 3, if there's a Marvin Jackson there, you can put it under and trigger that ability. So that's pretty nice. And then, of course, the when attacking inheritable, Digivolve 1 on your opponent. That's really nice. I'm going to keep the security check +1s here. I think we're having one more. Metal Tyrannomon, really important card. I considered running 2 of it. On play or when Digivolving, for every black tamer or green tamer, there's no green tamers here, but for every black tamer, essentially, you get to suspend an opponent, and one of your opponent's Digimon cannot unsuspend. That's pretty nice. Inheritable, if you kill a Digimon, all turns, whether you block it or swing into it, you trash your opponent's security. That's really nice. I'd consider 2 of these. If there was room, I definitely would, but there's just not that much room. I'd rather have one of each of these level 5, 6s so that I'm not making mistakes and have them all individually, be different. Metal Greymon that attacks standing Digimon. This is really nice. Sometimes you just got to kill a Digimon. Combined with this Metal Tyrannomon, you get to trash security as well. It's pretty nice. Volcanomon, security check +1. That's another security check. You could potentially have a Machinedramon with all 4 of these, just checking all of your opponent's security. That's really nice. We have Metal Greymon with +3 that has inheritable +3000, because DP is really, really on a low in this deck. We have a Andromon that when Digivolving, Digivolves your opponent. That's really nice. And we have an inheritable reboot. So let's say your stack is killed and you need to bring out a new Machinedramon, like one of the EX1s, for example. You can get reboot on the stack with this Andromon and get the security check +1 of that Metal Greymon that you need reboot for. It's a nice little combo. I like it. Metal Mamemon, sorry. When Digivolving, you can pick up a Cyborg machine and trash the rest. Sometimes you just end up with more level 5s and trash. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you trash some key cards, but it's part of it. It's part of that. The inheritable is nice, though. When attacking, you pop a level 5. If you combine that with the Megadramon that Digivolves, if the opponent has a level 6 that has Digivolve down to a level 5, Metal Mamemon will pop it. And you're good. You're good to go. You clear that. Deletion is really important. There's not a lot of deletion in this deck, so you got to take advantage of it when you can. We got Andromon that gives blocker, similar to Metal Mamemon, sorry. Megadramon, which kills a tamer or Digimon that's 3 cost. It also does that when attacking. That's really nice. Sometimes it's nice to kill some tamers, some little tamer interaction. You got Gigadramon that inherits reboot as well, so you can also do this for reboot. And it itself has jamming. If you don't have a Marvin Jackson in the stack to give it jamming, you could just swing with this Gigadramon jamming if it has the inheritables under it. Right? It's pretty cool. We have Megadramon that gives +2000. Sometimes, again, you just want more DP sometimes. And that's it for the level 5s. We want 14 different level 5 cyborg machines, which is, I think, a pretty good idea. You can cut 1. I think 13 is also a pretty good number, but I run 14. We run 2 EX1 Machinedramons, which on play place 5 cards, 5 cyborg machines, level 5s, different ones, from your trash under it, and you gain 1 memory for each one of those. This combos pretty well with one of the later cards we'll talk about, as well as the DP cannot be reduced on this one. So against matchups against yellow, this is a very, very big key card that you want to work with. But its DP is not great. 11 is not super powerful. So sometimes you really do want to have that Megadramon or Metal Greymon to be under it. Although, however, if you have some stacks and it was going to die, you can trash some of those level 5s under it to keep it alive, which is also helpful. Right? But maybe you got to kill a Digimon, maybe you got to do that and you want that extra DP. All right. Next, we want 2 of the Machinedramon that when it dies, if you have an Analog Man, you just bottom deck the Analog Man and bring out another Machinedramon. This is actually a really nice combo. If you have this out and as well as Analog Man and it happens to get killed, you can play a different Machinedramon, let's say EX1 one, for free, and then you still get to put cards under it and gain the memory from that. That's a nice little combo if you can pull it off. It's actually pretty crazy. You can end your opponent's turn that way by gaining the 5 memory. If it's set up, there's a lot of setup for that, but it's still pretty cool. This Machinedramon is run 2. I can see you cutting this to 1. It just 2 seems fine. 2 seems fine. I think 1 could also work though. Run 3 of the Chaosdramon. I don't know. 3 of them. He Digivolve from Machinedramon if you have it. However, he can also just Digivolve from a level 5. It's fine for 4. He places cards under it and Digivolves your opponent, which is really nice. And then, of course, if it would be deleted, you can trash cards under it to keep it from dying, just like the other Machinedramon. You gotta be careful, though. If you're playing yellow or something that DP reduces, this doesn't have that protection against DP reduction. So you gotta be careful when you trigger this if you're playing against something that does that, which there's a lot of yellow decks that do that, right? But otherwise, Chaosdramon is really nice. Chaosdramon is really nice. I run one X and a body Chaosdramon. He inherits essentially all the all the abilities of all the Chaosdramons and Machinedramons under it. So I only run one just because there's just like very much no room. But this card can be key because it inherits the you cannot DP reduce it. Like on deletion, you can do the whole analog man and play another Machinedramon. It takes the if you try to delete it, you can trash 2 cards from under it to keep it from being deleting, as well as if you attempt to delete it, your opponent has to trash 1 card from their security. There's a lot going on here, and at the beginning of every turn, you can put a level 5 cyborg machine under it to keep that stack going. I only run one because I'd rather just have the inheritables before I get to it. Plus, you have quite a bit of search, which is really nice. For Analog Man, this card is key. It can keep your opponent from winning. If Analog Man is out and you have the right Machinedramon situation, your opponent can do nothing. This locks it down, and you can fuel your trash by trashing a level 5 cyborg, drawing 1, gaining 1 memory. That can get you key memory that you need, as well as drawing key cards. And of course, it redirects your opponent's attacks into a level 6 machine cyborg, which is any of the Machinedramons. If they're out there, Analog Man is going to keep your opponent from doing much. I run 3 Marvin Jacksons. As I mentioned earlier, combos really where we're Airdramon. It places a card under it. If you already have a Dorumon out there in a stack, let's say it's Gardramon, you can just keep, as long as Gardramon's out on the field, every turn you can hook up Marvin Jackson and gain that 1 memory. Just, start of the turn, or at any point in the turn, hook up Marvin Jackson, gain the 1 memory. Then at the end of the turn, go ahead and separate. So it can be one way to fuel your memory for the turn is to have Marvin Jackson out there. I really like the combo with Marvin, as well as gaining that jamming or blocker. Sometimes you just keep it under to keep the stack having blocker because you might need it, right? Yeah, Marvin's really good. And also, I don't know if you know this, but at the start of your main, you can trash a machine cyborg, any of them, doesn't have to be level 5, and gain 1 memory. So if you have an analog and a Marvin, you could potentially gain memory based off of both of those, which is really nice, right? Last but not least, we go on to the options. I run 2 Supreme Connections. Really nice searches, the top 5. You can pick up a cyborg. Sorry, you can add a machine or cyborg to your hand, trash 1 as well, and then put the rest of the cards on the top of your deck while placing this card in the battle area. Later on, you may play a level 5 or higher Digimon with cyborg or machine by a reduced play cost of 3. So that's level 5 or higher, meaning you can actually play a level 5, one of your level 5s here, for a reduced cost of 3. So like this Megadramon, I can play it for 3 instead of 6 using the Supreme Connection ability, which is really cool. Or you can just run, one of the better on-playability ones, like, let me see, where is it at? Like the Metal Tyrannomon, right? This is still on-playability. You can play it for 5, and if you have a bunch of Black Tamers, you can suspend your opponent and keep one of your opponent's Digimon suspended. As well as Megadramon, you can use Supreme Connection on Megadramon, get the on-play, get the Marvin Jackson out. Now you have a blocker, right? As well as, of course, use it for the Machinedramons. EX1 would be the ideal target. You reduce it by 3 if you have 5 cyborgs or machines placed under. This Machinedramon ends up coming for 12 minus 3, which is 9, and then minus 5, which is 4. You can bring out this Machinedramon for only 4 play costs, which is really, really nice. Really cool card, Supreme Connection here. I almost said Ultimate Connection. Attack of the Heavy Mobile. I think, now that I consider it, I think 2 would be really nice. This card just finishes the game. It gains your level 6 cyborg machine on play with the on play effect gains rush and blitz. You could just if you have one in hand and you can pay the memory for it, you could just finish do one last attack to your opponent with it. I've had a few times where I wish I had more than one of these, right? Because I swung one turn and I was ready. I had no security, but I didn't have a second one to play the next turn. I could see somebody going with 2/2. Maybe even more. This is a really good card. I think it's more of a finisher rather than something that you want to use in the middle of a game. Surprise your opponent, right? So that's why I kind of run one. I think that's my way of thinking about it. 1 black memory boost. Sometimes you're searching. Sometimes you just need that card, key card, whatever it is. Black memory boost does that for you. Of course, you get the memory later on too. Works really well here. Ideally, you don't have a ton of digivolving going on, but you might want to use that memory, right? Yeah, so Lots of combos that you can use. Of course, the rebooting with the level 5s is really nice. This is a build which takes full advantage of having the Digivolution stack. There's a lot of Digivolution reboot here, right? Let's say you have something like this, right? With Marvin Jackson to give jamming. I mean, Machinedramon only swings for 11. He could potentially check into something really stronger. This stack has reboot, 2 checks, jamming, and then whenever you attach Marvin, you gain 1 memory. It's really nice, right? So you won't die into your things. You'll stand back up. If you have Analog Man, your opponent has to attack into the stack, right? All of those are really nice things happening here. And you can have a blocker if you leave Marvin in there. It depends on the situation, of course. Really cool build. I like it a lot. I enjoy it. Some honorable mentions. You can run Piercing Metal Greymon if you run the other Metal Greymon that attacks Digimon. Really nice tech. Machinedramon. I just find out that your opponent doesn't really want to keep that many cards in hand, right? But if they do, this Inheritable just unsuspends your stack if your opponent has 8 or more. This could finish the game, right? Especially if you have multiple security checks under your stack. You stand back up, swing for game. Machinedramon is really nice. I can see some people also running Ultimate Connection. I don't think it's as important as it used to be, especially since there's like more memory gain off the Tamers and cards that stay all around. Super Eradication attack is really nice. If you have the right stack, I just think it needs a lot of build up for it to happen. And Trident Arm, there's a lot of blocking. There's a lot, especially with the Agumon, for example, right? The Digivolution is really nice. I just really like Trident Arm, but I can see somebody running it, but I'm not running it in this version. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. That is the Machinedramon deck. If you have any suggestions, let me know, because I keep testing it and I keep finding new things. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.